Happening now, deputies with the Chautauqua County Sheriff's Office have made an arrest on a Sinclairville shooting earlier in the year. The details coming next. And we take a look at a local World War II veteran who's being honored for his service.
It makes me very proud, absolutely.
77 years after his time serving in the world's biggest war. Plus, we look at a holiday staple returning to Jamestown, how you at home can catch one of the biggest performances of the year.
Live and on demand, this is WNY News Now.
Thank you for joining us for WNY News Now. I'm Bronson Rasmussen. Those stories and more are coming up, but first, the Chautauqua County Sheriff's Office has made an arrest in connection with the murder of an 18-year-old killed following an altercation in Sinclairville earlier in the year. Cassadaga resident Joseph Mizaggio was shot in the area of Park and Reed Streets in early July. Law enforcement said he died from injuries sustained during treatment at UPMC Chautauqua Hospital in Jamestown. On Thursday, investigators arrested an unnamed individual believed to be the alleged shooter. The suspect was arraigned and remanded to jail without bail on charges of first-degree manslaughter. However, deputies said that due to New York state law, the suspect's name won't be released. At this time, our newsroom has inquired with Sheriff Jim Quattrone for more clarification. Law enforcement previously told WNY News Now that they were relying on the testimonies of around 5 witnesses to identify the shooter. Officers say that the arrest stems from a lengthy investigation by the sheriff and DA's office. Just prior to an area-wide drug raid that resulted in 19 arrests, local law enforcement seized a major amount of fentanyl pills during a traffic stop this week. Officers with the Jamestown Metro Drug Task Force, along with partner agencies, were conducting surveillance of a vehicle traveling through the area around noon on Wednesday. Following a traffic stop and the help of Jamestown Police K-9 Cal and Chautauqua County Sheriff K-9 Drake, investigators recovered 9 pounds and 13 ounces of fentanyl pills. There's estimated to be around 50 to 60,000 pills total, with a street value of around $500,000. There was also $3,000 in cash located. The car's female driver, who was not identified by police, is in federal custody by the Drug Enforcement Administration. A federal appeals court panel has ruled New York can continue enforcing a new state law banning guns from sensitive places like parks and theaters, while the judges consider a legal challenge. The temporary stay holds a ruling issued last month that found constitutional issues with multiple portions of law related to carrying firearms in public places and to licensing requirements. New York adopted the new gun law this summer after a Supreme Court ruling invalidated the state's system for granting permits to carry handguns outside the home. The law expanded who could get a handgun license, added new licensing requirements, and created a long list of places where firearms would be banned. The panel's decision makes an exception for people who have the duty to keep the peace at places of worship, airports, and private businesses. A local World War II hero is being honored for his service 77 years after leaving the front lines of the world's largest conflict. Family, friends, and dignitaries gathered at the Fenton History Center in Jamestown on Thursday to recognize the distinguished service of Thomas Tedesco. Our Justin Gould shares his story.
Although I was only 2 years old when he left for the Army, I know how much my mother and father missed him. My mother wrote to him every day, and he wrote back some loving, loving letters.
Army Private First Class Thomas Tedesco was drafted on February 4th, 1943. He first provided mail and logistical support to all American military units in the United Kingdom before he was sent to the front lines, joining the D-Day invasion, and later fighting in the Battle of the Bulge. When asked about his service, the American hero was reserved.
Was it difficult? To be in the service? No, it wasn't difficult. No, I did what I was told, and that was it.
Now, at 89 years old, the private was honored with several accommodations, including the Bronze Star Medal, the fourth highest individual military award for valor. He recalled Victory Day celebrations, both across the nation and when he returned home in Falconer.
I recall this guy kissing, this soldier kissing this girl on the front page.
Raising 5 children, his son and grandsons also served in the military.
It makes me very proud, absolutely.
This tradition, according to local historian Barb Cessna, is a generational trait that started after the Revolutionary War.
Their sons ventured out, and after the War of 1812 came here for land, and then their sons were the Civil War soldiers, you know, and it's in their family, and it's in their DNA.
During World War II specifically, hundreds of soldiers across Chautauqua County were photographed by Globe Studios in Jamestown, an album artifact that's on display at the Fenton History Center.
Many of them did not come back, so that stands as the only photo of them in their uniform.
Justin Gould, WNY News Now.
The Jamestown Fire Department has received a $2,000 donation to purchase smoke detectors for the agency's fire prevention outreach program. The donation was given to City Hall by Rand Machine Products, a custom and contract manufacturing company located on Allen Street Extension in Faulkner. After holding a fundraiser this summer, Jamestown Fire Chief Matthew Kuhn is grateful of the generous donation from the manufacturing company, stating the importance that smoke alarms give to every household.
We felt as a department that the best use of those funds would be to enhance our community outreach program with the smoke detector. It's a very popular program, and having additional smoke detectors available to members of the public through our program is really our ultimate goal. As a chief, I'm always very interested to have people have smoke detectors in their home, and we certainly are all about the public safety, and we'll even assist with installation of those if the need exists to do so.
Anyone that would like to take part in the outreach program is urged to contact the Jamestown Fire Department Fire Chief Office. The manufacturing company also had previously made a donation towards city police officers. And now, with a change of things, let's get a check with our first weather forecast with our chief forecaster, Dakota Hunter. How's it going over there? It looks kind of cloudy.
Yes, it is. The clouds continue for this Friday, for this early Friday afternoon, but we should see a little bit of clearing in that cloud deck as we go through the afternoon. The Mill Creek Mall Sky Cam, which is perched on top of the old water tower in Erie at the Mill Creek Mall, showing you traffic flowing A-OK over Peach Street right now. And that camera is courtesy of our friends down at WNY News Now. And the satellite and radar composite, again, you can see those clouds streaming on in now. So we're basically still going to be stuck in the cloud cover, but we do think we are going to see some peaks of sunshine as we go through the later part of the afternoon. 39 was the high yesterday. That's right at average where we should be. Started the day at 27, 60, and 10 below zero. On this day in 1917 was the record low. That's way before our time and even before the Three Stooges time, come to think of it. So that gives you a reference of how long it's been since we've been that cold. So mostly cloudy to partly sunny through the afternoon today. Seasonable day. There will be a little bit of a breeze though, 36 to 43 with that east wind averaging 6 to 17 miles an hour. Now we do have some rain and snow on the way for the weekend. Will it accumulate? I'll talk about it with the Ultimate Satellite Solution 7-Day later on in the show, Bronson.
All right, we'll see you then, Dakota. As WNY News Now continues, we explain our local congressional reps' vote on the just-passed same-sex marriage law. And later, the push to combat healthcare workforce shortages in New York State. Stay with us, as WNY News Now will be right back.
Wishing you a safe and happy holiday season. WNY News Now, the Jolly Team, where coverage comes first.
EagleZip.com is your local one-stop shop for all of your home and business computer needs. Located on Fluvan Avenue Extension, just outside of Jamestown, EagleZip.com sells and services all brands of desktops and laptops, as well as servers and network equipment for your business. All new computer sales include transferring your data from your old computer plus a 2-year warranty. Call EagleZip.com today.
Stop by EagleZip.com today and let us make computers easy for you.
I'm a survivor.
I'm a survivor. I'm a survivor.
Testicular cancer is the leading form of cancer in men aged 15 to 35.
1 in 250 men will be diagnosed with testicular cancer.
But 98% will survive if detected early.
As a survivor, I believe early detection is the key. Learn how to do a testicular self-exam and other important facts about testicular cancer at oneball4tc.com.
Looking for a fair and honest auto mechanic? Look no further than DeWyas Auto Service. Located at 140 Main Street in Randolph, our family-owned business is ready for all of your automotive needs. From general service to more complex repairs, count on DeWyas Auto to keep you on the road. We not only keep your cars running smoothly, but also looking great with our expert detailing crew. Send us a message on Facebook or call us today at 716-358-2292 to set up an appointment. DeWyas Auto Service. Fair, honest, and the best prices guaranteed.
You're watching WNY News Now, where coverage comes first.
The U.S. House of Representatives have passed a bill to protect same-sex marriage. The Respect for Marriage Act passed in the House on a 258 to 169 vote. 39 Republicans joined Democrats in voting for the legislation. After the final tally, legislators erupted in applause. The bill does not set a national requirement that all states must legalize same-sex marriage, but it does require states to recognize another state's legal marriage. Congress pursued this legislation following the Supreme Court's decision to overturn the landmark Roe v. Wade decision. Some Democrats worried the court would overturn rulings that protect same-sex marriage. Joe Semplensky voted against the legislation. We spoke with him about this before he voted on it.
So, because of my concern for religious freedom, I'm a constitutional conservative. I am duty-bound to protect people's constitutional rights to the free exercise of religion. And if I'm concerned that legislation will be used to curtail those religious freedom rights,
the legislation now heads to Biden's desk for his signature. The House passed the annual military spending bill, sending nearly $850 billion to the Senate. The NDAA must be passed by Congress each year, and this bill includes $817 billion for the Defense Department and about $30 billion to fund nuclear activities in the Department of Energy. In this legislation, service members and the Pentagon's civilian workforce will get a little bit of a pay bump. New weapons programs and equipment upgrades. The bill is seen as a win-win for both parties after they negotiated what goes into the bill for months. Healthcare advocates are urging lawmakers to take action to combat medical workforce shortages. Our New York State Capitol correspondent, Elise Klein, speaks to lawmakers and advocates about the impact of this issue.
At a press conference this week, advocates urge lawmakers to address the state's medical workforce shortages. They're asking for permanent funding for recruitment and retention programs and educational and vocational pipeline programs. They're also asking for an increase in financial relief directed to upstate teaching and rural hospitals. Dr. Dennis P. McKenna from Albany Med says that hospitals are dealing with a staffing crisis and that it's critical for action to be taken to address this.
And it's impeding our ability to focus on our mission because we don't have enough staff to take care of the patients who need our services.
McKenna says that Albany Med is dependent on staffing agencies to, quote, fill the gap caused by what is called the Great Resignation, a record number of workers in the U.S. who resigned from their jobs in 2022. Staffing agencies help provide contracted nurses to hospitals and nursing homes. McKenna says the money Albany Med has to pay for this service is tremendous and not financially sustainable for them. Assemblymember John McDonald says hospitals and nursing homes sustainability will be a priority for the legislature.
We know that we've got to put the proper resources in place and the proper tests in place, the proper tools in place to help address this issue.
New York State Assembly Speaker Carl Hastie says there are shortages in a variety of professions that the legislature plans on addressing.
And I do think that that's something that we should look to do to make sure that we have enough people in the different professions to provide the services that we need in the state.
In Albany, Elise Klein, WNY News Now.
$6.6 million are headed to Pennsylvania for broadband improvements. These are the first federal funds received by the state from the Biden administration's Internet for All initiative. The roughly $45 billion federal initiative was a result of the bipartisan infrastructure law passed by Congress last year. The initiative grants each state at least $100 million for broadband improvements to help provide all residents with high-speed internet.
The funding coming our way will give us, Pennsylvania, the opportunity to take the next steps in expanding broadband access in a way that will create a generational change for the Commonwealth.
The $6.6 million will be administered by the Pennsylvania Broadband Development Authority and will be used primarily for planning and mapping out how the $100 million in total should be used. Children from the age of 6 months old to 5 years old are now eligible to get more protection from COVID-19. On Thursday, the Food and Drug Administration approved an updated vaccine from Pfizer-BioNTech that is deemed safe for kids. These bivalent vaccines fight the original strain of the virus and the latest BA.4/5 Omicron versions. Pediatricians are concerned because the number of young children getting their COVID vaccinations is low in the U.S. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, less than 5% of boys and girls under 5 years old have had their first round of shots. While coming up, we meet a new furry friend up for adoption in our Pet of the Week segment. And later, we're going behind the scenes of a popular holiday performance taking the stage this weekend in Jamestown. But first, we return with a look at our full weather forecast when WNY News Now returns.
With coverage that matters, this is WNY News Now.
Slow down. Slow down and move over. Move over.
When you see signs,
Lights. Vests.
please give us some room.
Slow down. Slow down and move over. When you need help,
It's our job
to help you.
to save you.
Despite the danger. This danger is real. Do your part.
Please
Slow down. Slow down. And move over.
move over.
WNY News Now is covering stories that matter to you.
There are two silver linings here. One, that no injuries were reported, and two, they were able to contain the fire from spreading further.
Western New York has a new congressional member representing them.
One of the things that made Betty White so unique was the fact that she connected generations of fans throughout the decades. Take a look at the display here.
WNY News Now, where coverage comes first.
I don't think that many kids in my son's school even do it.
He makes fun of his friend who vapes.
He would never try it.
She's into soccer.
She's on the honor roll.
She's just not the type.
No way.
No way.
No way.
No way, my kid would never vape.
Get your head out of the cloud. Today, nearly 8,000 kids will start vaping. Maybe even yours. Learn about the dangers at talkaboutvaping.org.
Wishing you a safe and happy holiday season. WNY News Now, the Jolly Team, where coverage comes first.
Fast, accurate, and every day. First Defense Weather.
Welcome back, everybody. We are the Jolly Team, because I am jolly. All right, let's talk about a nice weather eye picture. Again, Don sending in a nice picture of some geese. Yes, some geese out on the water. And, even though it's December, it doesn't even look like it out there because we have no snow on the ground. But that might be changing here a little bit as we go into the next couple of days. So if you have any pictures or videos of the weather, I'm sorry, Bronson?
Geese or gooses?
Geese, gooses. The mooses and the gooses, Three Stooges. Anyway, Hunters WX on Twitter, the First Defense Weather page on Facebook, and always use the hashtag MyLocalWX. And also, wintertime, the ski resorts here, Peak and Peak, is officially opening at 2 o'clock today, 6 to 12-inch bases there. And Holiday Valley still has a base of 4 to 20 inches with a machine groom surface. Hollywood and Mount Pleasant plans to open next week. And we don't have any substantial snow in the forecast for at least the next 7 days, but I do think we are going to see a little bit of snow, which is not going to help too much, but at least it will be snow for those of you who like to ski and snowboard. Up to 31 right now at the Jamestown Airport as of noon hour, an east wind of 8, so at least the wind is a little bit on the lighter side, but there's that wind chill of 24. That's what it feels like when you step outside with the wind and the air temperature. And part of the reason we really haven't warmed up too much is twofold. One, we've had the clouds in place, but two, we have a low solar angle this time of the year. Sunrise time comes up at 7:34 tomorrow morning. The peak time for the sun is now at noon hour, at solar noon, and then the sun starts to drift off into the horizon by 4:45. So that's part of the reason why we don't really warm up too much this time of the year, because of our low solar angle. And of course, if we have clouds, that doesn't help too much either, like we've had over the past couple of days. Here's the next system out here in the upper Great Lakes. This is going to be moving towards the area on Sunday. And even though today and tomorrow will be dry, that will be changing as we head into the second half of the weekend. So here it is for you on the computer modeling forecast. We are going to see some peaks of sunshine. I don't think we're going to see full sunshine today, but there will be some sun and clouds mixing and sharing the sky at times. Then we'll go partly to mostly cloudy for tonight. We will see some clearing. This particular model is overdoing the amount of clearing we're going to see, but there will be some clearing through the overnight hours into tomorrow morning. Then we'll call the afternoon hours partly sunny on average. The clouds thicken up and actually advance and thicken up out ahead of that system. Notice the purple showing up here, that purple and pink. That starts to indicate maybe some wintry mix along with some of that snow and rain showers coming on in for Sunday. And we could see some snow accumulation out of this, but very insignificant. We're looking at about nothing across the lower elevations to maybe upwards of 1 to 1.5 inches on the highest hills. Again, this is no big deal kind of snow, but again, at least it will bring a little bit of snow back. But the next 7 days of your life, powered by Ultimate Satellite Solutions, doesn't really favor too much in the way of snow, but at least on next Tuesday, I've got a great supply of sunshine for you next Tuesday, temperatures in the upper 30s. Now, we are watching next weekend, though. Some of the long-range models does suggest a storm across the East Coast. Still way too early to know about that, and if we'll get any snow out of that, but we'll keep you updated right here, Bronson.
All right, Dakota, thank you much. I love that transition, by the way. Well, in an effort to help our animals find their forever home, WNY News Now is partnering with the Chautauqua County Humane Society in a segment called the Pet of the Week. Brian Papalea has more on this week's featured furry friend. Unfortunately, he's not here with us today.
Thanks for having us on today. Pullman Island and I are here at the cat colony at the Chautauqua County Humane Society. We're just kind of chilling. So we thought he'd send a video because Pullman, I don't know how well he'd do in the car. So we thought we would stay here. He is a little bit of a shy guy. And he's 3 years and 1 month old, and he does love to play with toys. As you can see, if you see cats running in the background, he does all right with other cats in the house. Just take some time to get used to living with them. So our adoption counselors will explain the introduction process when you adopt a cat like Pullman. But he is just a cool guy. So I would invite people to come down and meet him during the Season of Hope we have going on, the Season of Hope adoption drive. We're trying to get 100 animals home, whether through adoption or foster, before December 23rd. We want to thank Happy Hounds Hotel and Day Spa for supporting us with that, and you folks at Western New York News Now. So yeah, come meet Pullman here at the shelter. We're open until 5:30 today. We'll be open from 11 to 3 tomorrow. And get yourself a new furry friend. Find out more at chqhumane.org.
Brian, thank you. To learn more about Pullman or other residents of the shelter, visit chqhumane.org. Next, a popular holiday performance in Jamestown takes the stage this weekend. Our Julia Grass previews the Nutcracker when we return.
You're watching WNY News Now, where coverage comes first.
Right here, baby. Look. Uma.
No. Something more than a birthday is happening here. Once you can see it, you can help. The sooner you recognize the signs of autism, the sooner you can make a lifetime of difference for your child. Start by answering a few simple questions at screenforautism.org.
There's an old saying, there's no news in the newsroom. Well, it's true. The time I spend at the anchor desk is just part of my day. Most of our time is spent gathering stories in the community, stories that matter to you. We can't do it alone, and we need your help. When you see breaking news or have a news tip we should know about, drop us a line on Facebook today, email our news desk, or call our newsroom at 488-7226 so we can bring those stories straight back to you.
I know what you're thinking. I need a job. I need a new career.
Well, I've been there.
I've been there.
I've been there. I wasn't happy with what I was doing. After high school, I didn't have a plan.
I just wanted to start working. I got laid off twice, but you gotta keep going.
You just need the right skills. Find an apprenticeship.
I found a 2-year IT program.
I found a medical course online.
I'm now a consultant in the tech space.
You have more options than you think. You can do this. You will find something.
You will find something new.
A holiday staple returns to Jamestown this weekend as the Chautauqua Regional Youth Ballet performs the Nutcracker. As Julia Gress reports, organizers say this holiday classic is one of the biggest shows of the year.
It's almost like a whole year production, almost. Well, we start really thinking and talking and preparing in September or even August sometimes, because we have our big spring gala, in June, and after that is over, we are already thinking and talking about the Nutcracker. It takes a lot of work and time.
Auditions began in September, and as soon as the cast is chosen, it is full steam ahead for rehearsals.
From little snippets of the show at first, working with individual people as well, especially our soloists, and then slowly building the scenes together until we get to full act run-throughs and finally a full show run-through before we hit the theater.
Some cast members are as young as 4 years old. This will be director Monica Elch's 23rd year putting on the Nutcracker, and she hopes that the community will continue making it a tradition to attend.
The Nutcracker is a very traditional, beloved Christmas story, really, that all starts with a little Christmas Eve party that Clara's parents are throwing, and her Uncle Drosselmeyer comes in and brings some presents, one of which is the Nutcracker in its wooden toy form, and that really kickstarts off the whole show. And as we can preview, there's quite some magic in the show, so things start to come to life and we grow and enter a land of sweets in the second act, which is always so fun for the kids to be a part of.
Taking the stage in past performances, Megan Stefanik now plays a much larger role in the production.
Megan was like this when she started with me. And now look at her, and she's our Snow Queen, and she's a wonderful dancer, graduated from Point Park, Pittsburgh, yes. And now she's with us and helping us. And what I, of course, appreciate very much.
Stefanik says that being able to teach the students is the most rewarding aspect of her career. Julia Gress, WNY News Now.
Julia, thank you. There will be a performance Saturday, December 10th at 7:30 and Sunday at 3. Professional dancers from the Festival Ballet Province, Alex Lance and Kristen Evans, will also be performing in the ballet. Well, that's all the time that we have for today. We hope to catch you next week on WNY News Now. And I think we'll give you a look with, let's say with Randolph this time. What do you think, Dakota? Does Randolph sound good? All right, we'll see you next time. And I guess I'll get in trouble if I don't say hi to people out there, including my mom and Steph. Anyone you want to say hi to?
That.
Oh, well, that sucks.